I'd like to call this meeting to order, and I'd like to say welcome. Thank you for being here. Do we have any discussion about the minutes from our last meeting? And if not, do I have a motion to approve the minutes from
September
September
7th.
7th?
I'll make a motion to accept.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, so minutes approved. Any questions or comments concerning the claims for this month? And if not, may I have a motion to approve the claims as submitted?
Motion to approve the claims as submitted.
Can I get a witness?
Second.
Thank you, sir. All right, all those in favor of approving the claims as submitted, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, new business is on here. We don't have any old business, is that correct, Mr. Wooler?
Should be all set on old business.
Okay, so new business, project updates, Oak Hill. Take it away, Matt Wooler.
Yes, ma'am. So with Oak Hill Board, you've got the latest design plans there sitting in front of you. Only minor tweaks at this point. So since we last spoke, we've made a few adjustments to a few pieces of equipment and some of the dimensions for the overall playground, but primarily this is going to remain largely the same. I have met with Tony Steinhardt, Kenny Washer, and then all of the contractors have been on site multiple times over the past couple of weeks to walk the entire area and essentially lay out the foundation work for it all. So to remind everybody of basically where we stand with all this, it's going to be all new sidewalks laid out throughout the entire park, parking, overall accessibility within the park, benches, trash cans, fencing around the perimeter, as well as a dog park within the fenced-in area, new basketball goals and court resurfaced, cornhole boards, trees that are going to line I believe that would be the north side there, next to the houses, and then a new shelter house that mimics the one down at the Madison Sport Courts there, directly in the center of the park. So all of that right now is progressing very well. Last that I was over there last week, they were just finishing up some of the sidewalk work and had already begun on the physical park itself. So we've got the goals have already come into play. They've been here. We've got basically everything has been ordered. Can-do maintenance is already working on the shelter house. So that all is progressing very well with the park. But I just wanted you to see kind of our latest concept plans with that.
And just to clarify, phase one is just the playground section of it. Like, are the basketball goals included in phase one?
Phase one is everything I just stated.
Oh, it really is?
Yeah, landscaping,
Okay.
fencing, playground, shelter house.
Okay.
That is all part of it. So how we kind of laid it out when we did the initial master plan for Oak Hill, that was a $750,000 park or so, and we did have that scaled out to a couple of phases, but since that point with the project scope, we've scaled that back a little bit to where likely it's just going to be one phase, and that's where we're trying to do it all right now.
Okay.
Could you remind me when plans for completion is?
Anticipated spring of '23.
Pretty quick then.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, they're, I'm not kidding, if you go take a look through there, how quickly they moved on all of the sidewalk and the infrastructure project, they're speeding right along, so.
I don't see the benches on the plan. Where are those going? I don't see the benches.
So this is just for the playground, so
Yes.
I've got we don't have a conceptual, I guess, of the overall thing, but I could show you some spots we have designated around like the basketball court and then around where the dog park is and shelter house, where we're gonna have fences,
They'll
or
be
benches.
Are they fixed? Are they fixed benches?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, poured in place with the concrete, very similar to the black cast iron that you see all throughout downtown.
Would this be the appropriate time to announce our breaking ground ceremony?
You're beating me to it.
I'm
That's what I'm
sorry.
gonna end with this. So, I'll go ahead and jump to that. So what I would like to invite everyone to, especially at board, on Tuesday, October the 11th at 5:30 p.m., we will be hosting a groundbreaking ceremony there at Oak Hill Park. This will be a smaller ceremony, only 20 to 30 minutes or so. But Mayor Courtney and myself will be able to speak a little bit about the project, what all that we hope to achieve with it, and give a little bit more details about it. And to be able to recognize our partners throughout this partnership, because that was another component of this, is some of the grants and the funding that we have been working on. So again, since we last spoke, we have received the $50,000 through Game Time, which is the playground representative that we're currently using. We have received the acceptance for $50,000 through the Community Foundation to go towards this park. We've received $7,500 commitment from Eleanor T. Burke Foundation, and then we've received another $2,000 commitment from Can Do Maintenance. And with all of that in mind, we've applied for several other grants, such as a $50,000 one through T-Mobile that Alyssa Foltz and Keely White wrote, and then I got to help out on. And so there's other private businesses that we've been speaking with as well that are interested in donating. So hopefully we can have all of that solidified by the 11th, where we can recognize each of them as well. So again, all are welcome to attend for that groundbreaking. It's been some time since the parks have been able to do something like that, so we're very excited.
Okay, and do you have an update that you want to talk about Crystal Beach also, a few things?
Yes. So very similar, in front of you is the latest rendering here for Crystal Beach. The only kind of small alterations you're going to see here comparative to your last one, the wing wall for the exit point basically of the slides, that has now become more of a curved figure so that it's not kind of intrusive for your water playground area, and we think this looks a lot more dynamic there, and it's going to fit a little bit better for that. We've repositioned the slide slightly, slid it just a little bit to where that there's room in the back of that, so it's going to be more accessible throughout. Updated some landscaping components. We're still kind of having the discussion throughout with regards to trees as shade structure and then the elevation, because if you look at the grass area now of it, you're going to see kind of up and down hills, and it all sort of slants back to that back property. So we do have some elevation concerns there that we do need to get addressed with drainage. Concession area updated with shade structures. You see the chairs throughout with additional shade structures showcased there, also on the little the water deck shelf area. And then the other thing is the bather load breakdown, which I have there for you in the sheet. What we stated when we all got together for the last meeting was 895 total, and I do have that specific breakdown. So we're showing just over 300 for your open area, just over 300 for your zero entry, 105 for your current channel. So that's what would be kind of your lazy river component there. The diving area, 79, and then your lap lane, 70. So that's going to bring you to that just shy of 900 total for what we're looking at right now as a current bather load. But one thing that you have to keep in mind too is it's going to depend on the lifeguard situation, because per the state of Indiana, you have one lifeguard to every 75 bathers. So if we are going to be operating at this 900 limit capacity, it's going to take a well-staffed facility to do so.
What was the average was nowhere near that, though.
No. Throughout an entire day, we did a little research on that, and over the past 20 years, we've hit it over 1,000 a couple times, but that was not at one singular time.
Right.
So we could accommodate.
Matt, can I ask, is there, and maybe I missed this, is there any updates to the concession area, and if so, what are they? That's one. And then the entrance right here, as everyone walks in, what is this going to look like, this brown pad area?
So you're talking about the
As you
That's-
walk, yeah.
That's the pool house, isn't it?
pool house?
Yeah, that's the roof.
Okay, but I mean, the entrance in front of that, is
Oh,
that
yeah,
just
yeah.
going to be a walkway?
Yeah, so I'll hit on that. With that entry point, so something I've got on another sheet here, I just have some kind of doodling with it. You'll see those first couple of trees that you've got there at that entrance point, those have actually already been removed. We just still have the stumps there, but we're going to get those removed. I'm working through with a couple different companies on that grass area where the sidewalks converge. We're going to do an entire landscaping thing there. We've got new signage there in the very middle of that, working on getting the light pole taken down. Again, just trying to open up that entire front area so that it's a little bit more visible.
Okay.
Didn't you also mention bike racks at one point?
So bike racks, trash cans will also be there, just kind of your entrance exit point. We'll have those up close to the main facility and then also down by the basketball courts. because the courts are another component of this that we're getting priced out on resurfaced, relined and such. Making that fencing black so that it matches our new black wrought iron fencing there at Crystal Beach, which if you haven't seen looks fantastic right now.
Yes, it is.
It is. Those bathrooms have already gone through Historic Preservation Board to where they are getting torn down. We are not going to replace those at the current time because of the bathrooms that we have at Crystal Beach. And then just some overall kind of general beautification throughout that. So benches, some seating, trash cans, like we said. Instead of the blue barrel trash cans, we want the black ones like you see here that just look a little bit nicer.
And so we don't have a tear down date for that bathroom? There's nothing?
That got approved a few months ago, but I'm not sure. There's the only holdup I know of is with the electrical box. So we're trying to get Duke out here to get that all removed so it's safe to
Okay.
take that down.
And what about the concession stand area? What renovations will that go through?
So that's currently, it's been painted. They've included an AC unit and such, but I don't believe there's any other major renovation plans for that building
Okay.
outside of doing some shade structure and work on the outside of it. But the physical building, I don't think has a whole lot to it.
And what's our update on the elevator for the pool house?
The last I've been told is the end of November is what they're expecting. So as I learn more, I will keep you updated.
So the open area appears to be the largest area. Is that all 3.5 foot depth?
Yes, it is.
It's because there was some concern at our last meeting from the water aerobics people that, I mean, not that there will be 322 people there, but there should be plenty of room in that all one level.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, there's plenty of room there, and that's where too, you can utilize kind of the lap lane area. If you had to utilize that current channel, there's some, and part of kind of that zero depth entry as well, there's a lot of other areas that could be utilized if we were ever concerned about capacities.
Did moving the slide in the lazy river open that up a little bit?
It did, yeah, it made it
Okay.
not quite as congested in that area, so. And I think that wing wall structure too kind of helped make that all flow a little bit better.
I think it looks a lot better. I wasn't here for the movement of the placement of those two things. I think it makes more sense.
Yeah.
And I notice there's a big gaping circle in the middle of the lazy river now. So there was supposed to be landscaping or something there, right?
So
And we have
in the-
changed.
So in the discussions with that, we're
Yeah.
using that as that's more just water seating area. So we actually have that constructed to where it's not at your main entry point because we want that to be more of an adult area, so it's a little less accessible for the kids, but that's gonna have basically seating all around it so you can sit in the lazy river and enjoy it.
Anybody else questions about Crystal Beach? Okay. Introduction of our fees, parks fees.
Real quick, I'm just gonna hand these for everyone to kind of take a look at them, of what we're talking about. I know that most people are here for the see the hotel in Crystal Beach, but you'll see some of the different changes that we made. If you have any questions, let me know. Okay, for fees, so what I wanted to utilize this time for this meeting, not a full in-depth discussion on fees, but just sort of an introduction. We've had a lot of fee changes over the past couple of years, and between now and the next meeting, I'll be able to do a little bit more research on the exact timing of previous fee changes, because one thing I had noticed, a specific one that sits out in mind was season passes for a golf course. It only gone up $50 in a 10-year time span. So since that, we obviously have made some tremendous leaps in some of our fees. So I just want to utilize this as an opportunity for the board, especially since this is a very new board, and then for the public, if you have any initial thoughts on this is working out great, maybe this isn't working out great, let's try this. This is a good time to just kind of talk about suggestions and possible solutions. But what you've got in front of you is a breakdown just of the entire Parks Department's fee structure of what we currently have it set as. And I'll make reference to the very last page. If you see that, that's just some work that I've been doing with the communications department on potential pricing for the upstairs of Crystal Beach, so that event hall space. That is a space that'll hold 168, give or take, capacity. But that's just some potential stuff that we've been working through. So that is not set in stone yet, and I don't think we're ready to vote on that yet, but just something to consider.
I know that all these fees would be online in the different sections, but I'm just wondering if it might be just something to consider. Putting, like you've done it for us, where it's all organized, where somebody in the public could go and just see everything, bang, 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 bang.
Absolutely.
In one area.
And that's part of the intention. I know we did this last year when it came time to do rate changes, but one thing we handed out to all the board members and then the public was basically a sheet of what the 2021 fees were and then what the 22 fees were proposed to be. But that's something we can put online already so that people can be prepared to have that discussion.
Yeah, that's
So-
what I was thinking.
Yep, we can do that.
When you look at these fees, do you look at comparables with surrounding communities?
Yeah, we do compare with markets on what other places are doing.
Just real quick on the dog park, we just need to consider, do we want to keep it free or go back to
Correct.
a payment?
Yes, right now, that might be the only one not up to date. That is currently free,
Right.
but it's, but again, most of these fees outside of our golf course and campground really have not been touched recently. And then obviously our programming, since we've reduced those rates coming into this year.
Okay, so, we'll come prepared next time to actually discuss thoughts, raises, lowers, keep the same, et cetera.
Yeah, I would be okay to invite if the public has any initial thoughts on specific pricing or anything.
Today or next time,
I'm okay to have those initial thoughts. It gives us something to work off of for next meeting.
okay? So let's go ahead and open it up right now, since we're talking about fees now. If you have any thoughts at all, or you'd like some input, now's the time to do it. The different fees for everything, like the charge to go in the pool, have you ever paid a fee that you thought was too much, or wow, this is a really great deal, I paid this much? Any fee that the park, anything, the golfing for 9 holes, getting into the park, signing up for pickleball, we're reconsidering everything. You know,
No. Junior sports, campground, golf course.
we reevaluate it every year to see, is it comparable to surrounding communities? Is it losing money, making money? Have we made improvements that might warrant, you know?
That was talking about the capacity of 160 at the pool house, not brain automatically went to the fees for the pool house.
Oh, well, that's one of them. That's one of our new areas.
Yes, that's just the event hall up top. And so that's, I'll hold up right now with the elevator.
No, I just meant, had you already discussed fees for
No.
doing that?
So on my very last component of this page, it actually gives some research that we've done and some possible fees, but we're not at the point of voting on that yet, but it's just outlining what it could look like.
These are two different ideas right here. Is that what I'm looking at?
Correct. Yep. That's just putting some thoughts together.
So if we get that online before the next meeting, you guys just know that we would welcome input.
Which
Okay?
we will. We'll have that which we won't be voting at the next meeting, but we'll have that discussion of what
yes.
all the fees currently are. And then obviously for December's, we will have the breakdown of what the fees currently are and then what proposed will be.
Okay, and there'll be, yes, Jan?
Well, I saw that you got the pass, the annual pass again for the pool, just for old people. I think that's a big mistake. The general admission, $5 is good, the aerobics pass is certainly good, but it just have season passes for old people, we need to really rethink that.
Okay.
Yeah, what is it, for seniors?
$120 plus $30 for aerobics, so it'll be $150. And we will expect the pool to be open more than 45 days for that.
So you think 120 is too much? Or you think it should be extended to all ages,
I
which,
think you should not be discriminating against younger people. I mean, if we're gonna get more people using the pool, who spend all this money on the pool,
Kings Island? I mean, I
No,
don't,
no, 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 on the river,
Lisa, what is it? You from Cincinnati?
No, we don't have.
Coney Island.
Oh, Coney Island.
Coney Island, is $100. There's no age requirement, you have to be old, and that includes free parking, 10% discount at the gift shop, 10% discount at the concession stand. I mean, this is not comparable. So we just need to look at how many people do you want to come to the pool, and then how, I still think season passes are, if you can cover your cost before the season opens, you're doing good. So you wanna sell more passes. 65.
Oh, so I'm not.
I mean, it ought to be 55, but I don't think you should have any ages.
All right, thank you for the feedback.
Annual passes were nice, the youth groups and youth groups. By the time I paid for it, $500 or $600, but it was nice to have youth kids could get in. Lasted the whole season, 3 months.
Yeah.
It was nice, I didn't mind paying $200 or $300 for a senior pass, or I mean, a youth pass, that was good, at least we could all get in. Not have to break $5 every time.
Okay,
It also does make less work for your staff, and we have trouble with computers, and people don't carry cash anymore. So if you've got a whole bunch of people that have passes, it's less work for everybody.
okay. So we'll go into much more depth next month if you want to take the time to look at other things.
And those will be somewhere,
Yes,
yeah, okay.
promise.
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
Re-
Can I make this?
yes,
I'm Doug Buckle from I manage the campground down here. And one of the things that I want to, try to put out is, maybe you want to look at our weekly rates, because we don't get that many people in Monday through Thursday. So what have we got to do to try to, pick up people, because Clifty's sold out, and they only have electricity. We have more entities and stuff, and stuff. So what are we gonna do to try to draw people down to the campground? Maybe it's lowering our rates a little bit through the week, leave the rates at the weekend where they're at, but drawing them through the week, pulling the rates down to be where we're more comparable, you know, within a range of Clifty or whatever they are, so we can start pulling some of their people into the city campground.
specifically Monday through Thursday, you're saying?
Strictly Monday through Thursday. I'm sold out, I'm gonna say, I'm sold out probably 60% of the weekends through the summer, or at least I'm at 85% or higher. You know, and that's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, starting on, you know, they're coming in Thursday evening and stuff. But I mean, you know, but from Monday to Thursday, I may have 3 campers, I may have 2 campers, I may have 10 campers, I mean, you know. But I think we need to entice the market a little bit better, because of the pricing that's around is a lot cheaper through the week, and maybe we can lower our weekly rates and still keep the weekends about the same where we're at to accommodate, at least something to draw things. I mean, you know, empty campsites don't pay.
Doug, do you know Clifty's rates during the week?
Last time I know was $32. But I don't know what it is right now. I can go up and find out and have it for the next meeting.
It's probably on their
Share exactly
website.
what their rates are and how they break down.
I already wrote myself a note to look it up.
But, I mean, but the last time I knew, they were $35, something like that. And everything. It was quite a bit less than what we have. Now, we offer a lot more by being right here in the city. But when you're talking about somebody camping 5 days and spending $300 to camp, you know, people start looking at that and say, you know, and just like Mr. Adams back here, he comes down 5-6 times
Okay, thank you, Doug.
It's $32 on the weekend though.
Is it 32 on weekends too? Okay.
All right,
So it's quite a bit cheaper to go up there than what it is down where we're at.
okay. Thank you for your input. Deputy Director Report. Where is Mr. Ison tonight?
He is out sick, so I'm gonna take over for him. See, Doug's always on call. That's- Okay, for our youth programming, so Chad has spent the weekend at Jeffersonville on Saturday, Floyd Central on Sunday with our two tackle football teams. They did have successful seasons, and then this was their second round of the playoffs after winning their first two rounds against Silver Creek with each team. Both teams, unfortunately, did not come out victorious this weekend, but overall, we had over 50 kids and had a very positive tackle football season, so we were excited by how everything went with that. This Sunday, we also began our flag football season, so I was able to be at that while Chad was gone. Since we're doing our teams a little different this year, we've previously done it with a partnership through the high school and Coach Wilson, but some of the feedback that we received from parents was that they wanted it to be ran more like a traditional league as opposed to a skills camp was kind of how we previously did it. So hit a few speed bumps kind of on this first trial, but I think that we've got everything smoothed out and we look for a pretty successful second half of the season. Our only thing there is we're going to extend it just a little bit because of fall break so that we're not playing any games throughout, and that'll leave a little bit more time for practice for these kids. Currently, youth volleyball, we've just closed up registration. Chad has set the coaches meeting for later this week. They're going to have the draft and such, but we've got 64 girls that are signed up for that. Able to pull in Cam to come play with us again this year through Christian Academy of Madison. And we are going to be hosting that down at the Brown Gym. Games will be on Tuesdays and Thursdays here starting up in November. And looking forward to that. Volleyball is a fun one. For youth basketball, we do currently have a registration open till the end towards October. This is going to be through 4th and 6th grade. And we've got a boys league, and then we've got the girls league. So what we're doing this year is we're going to be entering the Gary Van Wy League. And this is a little different than what we've done in the past, and this is going to be another kind of one of these trial runs like flag football is, just to see how this kind of works out. But we've had several meetings with Gary, with the Boys and Girls Club, with the high school coaches over at Madison to kind of discuss what the best route is going to be. So we're going to try that out this year. And then this Van Wy League will be back down at the Brown Gym. So they have not been playing there for a couple of years. But again, after a few discussions with Gary, he is going to bring that back to us down at the gym. So we're excited to have him back. So if you'd like to register for that, that's on Rec Desk through Madison, Indiana. Still just $20 a player.
Can I interject? I'm
Yes, sir.
actually coaching the third grade team, so we'll take second and third graders also. It says 4 through 6 on there, so
Okay.
take second and third graders.
Okay. If you want to play up, that is okay. So.
Heck yeah.
Yes, sir. So registration is currently open, $20 per player, and the games will start the third week of November for that.
What were our flag football numbers, remind me?
We've got 47 that are signed up for that. For adult programming, Church League softball still going on up at Rucker Sports Complex on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then we've been having still our exercise classes down at the Brown Gym, pickleball classes, and then for the Monday night group at pickleball, I show that we've got 28 registered. Now, Carla, have you been participating in that? Is that
Off and on. Johanna, is that right on numbers? Signed up for Monday nights?
We will get probably 30 by then.
So, yeah.
so far? I don't know if anyone has anything different, but I've been hearing positive response on the Monday night pickleball league. So
Yes, it's
with
been
weather
nice.
starting to cool down, I hope that continues to grow. So.
Well, plus I think just by word of mouth, I'm surprised that we haven't by next week.
Yeah.
Because we haven't even really put anything out, it's all been,
Mhm.
yeah.
I agree.
And they're pretty much all new people, which is really fun
Good.
for us. Yeah.
Good. And then for senior programming, we still have our typical stuff with the Senior Center open Monday, Tuesdays, Thursdays, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Play a lot of euchre, bingo, ping pong, pool, and just overall socialization. Senior dance is going to be taking place every Friday this month. We've got Old Goats and the Nanny on October 7th, Smoking Cinders on the 14th. And then Paul Boggs Band is going to be on the 21st and 28th. So those dances are at the Brown Gym Friday nights at 6 p.m. And then,
To interrupt, but, sorry. We need to really stress that that's not just for seniors, because we're not getting enough people to. So I put it on my Facebook page, so anybody can go to my Facebook page and share it. I'm just saying, come one, come all, because if you want people over 18, come.
okay, we will work on rebranding that.
Yeah, actually, I thought it was for the seniors, so.
I did too.
We'll work on rebranding, not a problem for that. And then the last thing, so last week, Chad was able to attend the Senior Center Coalition of Indiana's regional directors. So he met in Seymour with a bunch of other directors for senior centers, and they were just able to talk about the overall challenges and the partnerships that they're utilizing throughout their cities, and just kind of pick ideas back and forth and really just have a good conversation about that. So that's something that either him or I are going to plan on attending anytime that they have meetings, which right now are set up monthly. But they're just kind of hybrid right now. So we're hoping that a little less people are doing the virtual and a little bit more in person for the collaboration component of it. But he said that all went very well, and it gave him some ideas to possibly implement here. So we're excited about that. That is all I have for Chad's report, board, if you've got anything for me. Okay.
Anybody?
No.
All right, so moving on to your report.
I'll jump right in. With our campground, so your financials are attached. Big thing is through September, revenue is up 15% from 2021. So we're very excited how that's going. Last year we set an all-time high, and this year we have already exceeded those numbers. So we've endured a little bit more expenses because we're now reinvesting in our campground, but you're starting to see the software, the investments paying dividends, and that's a big tribute to Doug, how well that he's doing with that. So we're excited by that. This is our last month, so we'll be wrapping up on the 30th. But on October 29th is our big Halloween festive, so we're excited about that. Doug, he gets very excited, has a lot of light up things and stuff. We get it decorated very nice. Gonna have trick or treating down there, possibly some music and stuff. So, and a DJ. Did you get him booked? And he's got the DJ booked. So that's gonna be a lot of fun, and we're looking forward to that. It was very successful last year. For next meeting at November, we'll be able to have the full report basically on how the campground is doing. But like I said, we're hitting all-time highs with revenue, so we're excited by that. And then I am working with Doug, and I'm working with Tony Steinhardt on our off-season priority list. This is another component where I would invite the board if you have suggestions on that, if you're able to take a look down there at the campground, if you're able to talk to any of our avid campers. I don't think any one particular thing is off the table, so we're looking for ways to reinvest to really give back to our campers. That's a spot that has not been reinvested in, just like a lot of our parks, for a number of years, so we're trying to rectify that. But I've got a couple different things on there that we're possibly taking a look at. It's going to come down to our timing and our pricing for that. For Sunrise Golf Course, again, financials are there. Some of the KPIs for September really stood out to me. 51% of our rounds played in September were paid rounds. So I know this was a big discussion that we had previous years, where we were sitting at 75% season pass rounds for an entire year. And this year, you're really starting to see that flip, as we nearly are at a 50-50 split for the entire year. Pull up. Overall, year to date, we have done 47% of our overall rounds have been paid rounds, which is a fantastic turnaround, and that's a big tribute to Golf Now, and then also Roger himself. We're very excited by that. Another component here that really stuck out to me, if you look at our year-to-date revenue at the golf course, we have done just shy of $380,000. Still have a few months left to go, so we're encouraged by that number. But I pulled out some old data there, and since 1998, that was the furthest back that I could find, the average revenue that we would see on a year was just shy of $360,000. So for better or for worse, there's a lot of things that they're trending in the right way. We still have some expenses that are a little bit high, especially on the heels of COVID with everything, fertilizer, chemicals. There's a lot of things that are really skyrocketing right now with price and inflation, but there's really some positive notes here. And I did another little comparison there between 21 and 22. because again, I just think this is really impactful of what we're doing. For our paid green fees are up 44% overall. Our paid cart rentals are up 46%, and then overall total rounds are up 10%. So again, Golf Now and Roger are doing what they said they would, and we're bringing in those additional rounds. So now is going to be the time in the off season as we create this priority list. The big thing for me is going to be pushing the concessions. So that's just another component, especially now that we've attained our three-way liquor license, maximizing the revenues on that and leveraging what we can for those margins. But overall, that's trending in the right way. So what we've got remaining for October, on October 15th, we have the Madison Boys Basketball Scramble. On the 21st, we have Courtney for Madison's Mayor Scramble. And then the 29th, we have Madison Boys Baseball. And then highlighting on the rate study, the golf board said that they're doing their own research. We're going to come back at the end of October and have that discussion internally. I don't know if we'll reach an agreement at that point, but we will at least be able to discuss that at our November meeting, and we'll absolutely have a recommendation come December. For the general park stuff, John Paul Park, concrete pads have been poured. So I talked to Tony Sorrells about that. We're going to get those benches installed soon. I know that we've discussed kind of the landscaping plan there, but we haven't finalized that. Carla, I don't know if you have any more information on.
No, we're still like gathering bids and stuff.
That's
from
fine with me.
people.
Yep. So there'll be more to come on landscaping for that, but we're talking about the fountain area there, of beautifying that since it is such a massive kind of historic structure that's right there. For Pearl Park, I want to say thank you to Ms. Krebs for her work on this. We were able to find out through some of her investigative work about potential funds to rehabilitate those deteriorating buildings. So we're working to leverage those funds to where we can utilize that with a detailed plan. So thank you for that. I appreciate your help as we move forward with that.
You're welcome. We removed the roof off of the mud hut this week, Lisa, or was that last week?
End of last week.
And now Mr. Sorrell's going to help us
Yes.
haul away the hay bales.
Yep.
And I think we're supposed to work on Wednesday to start scraping paint on the buildings and replacing some windows. So we have some volunteers. Lisa Ferguson and I are heading that up. And we're working with the Jefferson County Historical Society, I think was the name of the group, to help us with that. So, yes.
Fantastic. Keep me updated on when and where, and I'll be there, and we'd love to get some photos and stuff of that too.
Okay.
And then my last component here, for just kind of the general, we have a internship through Madison High School. It's Grace Broncella. So she's been with us for a few weeks now. She gets to work in the parks office from 1:30 to 3, 4 days out of the week, and she'll be doing that both fall and spring. And right now her kind of general interest is overall operations, kind of specifically with the golf course, but she's been enjoying kind of seeing what all, not only the parks, but the city has to offer with regards to that. So she's been great to have around. Board, do you have any questions for me?
Thank you, Matt.
No, I'd like to hear from Doug, his recommendations on the campground before we even start looking. If you'd talk to me afterwards, Doug, it'd be great.
Okay, does anyone from the public?
Yeah, I know I'm a little hoarse today. If you want to share publicly, you can, but we can talk privately.
Hey, I'll be glad to share a problem with you.
Okay.
Some of the new things that's coming down the pike is that, I was confronted by the, River Committee here about a month ago when they were putting out their posters and stuff, for their, golf cart scramble. They said that they was interested in extending the sidewalk onto the other end of the campground so that the runners, walkers, and everything can walk through the campground and walk on a sidewalk coming back this way. And so instead of having to walk in the street. So I said, well, yeah, I'm sure we'd be interested in working with you. And stuff, and I contacted a contractor about going in there, and here, what was it, about 2 months ago, it was brought to my attention about parking down there. So what I thought, you know, I'd consolidate into that is we would go 21 feet off of the edge of the road with pavement, the full length of the campground. That would give us basically a 36-inch walkway, plus when those campsites out there are not being used, we could also use them as parking spots for the campers, and they would not obstruct the the view of the river. And especially when the bottom's wet, rainy season, we'd have a place up there for the people to park. And but we would definitely still use those 4 campsites out there when needed for, like, this weekend, last weekend. That's like the next 3 weekends, before I'm full, but.
And you like the sidewalk idea too? You like that?
I like the sidewalk because that gets people off of the street, because that's one of the main things that's really a big concern to me is, because they take off at that stop sign, and they don't realize it's 20 mile an hour that they're still in the city, and they go flying down through there. So if you're walking on the edge of the street at dusk and stuff, there's a good chance of somebody getting run over. So when we get that laid, lines and stuff, people would, definitely would know the different sidewalk, street, and everything. And I think overall, it would be a safety issue for everybody. Just to give you guys some idea, I'm sure you guys have been down there, the 21-foot runs almost straight with the back of the arches, not the end of the where it's out to the street. The back edge almost runs straight down through there. Is where that 21-foot runs. So it'd be from there out. And I wouldn't lose any campsites. I would maintain. And then the other one was the roof on the bathrooms. The concrete up there is deteriorating, and during hard rains, when you're sitting in there taking care of business, you're taking a shower. So people don't like that too well, So I have some contractors that's come down, wrote up some bids. I don't know we haven't got them in yet, but we're looking at that. And one of the things that they're looking at is, instead of putting an asbestos roof on the building, put a gable, just a normal gable, metal roof, which would, if it floods, wash it out, it's good to go. It lasts for 30 years, 40 years. Any other questions? Thank you.
Is there anyone else from the public?
Just a couple things, because I'm rushing off to a meeting, so I'm guessing Bob's not speaking because he's
Correct.
supposed to be at the same meeting at 6 o'clock. So, just to remind you, I was asking before, Matt, maybe it's a winter project. I got a text message from a bunch of girlfriends that were biking, renting the bikes that you can rent on the river, ride from Lawrenceburg to Aurora. They wanted me to do that with them today. I'm like, I gotta be in Boone County, I can't do that. So, I'd like to be able to see us say that's something we offer in Madison, even though we don't have connectivity from town to town like Lawrenceburg and Aurora, where you can, bike that 7-mile path. I still feel like we're a biking community. If we had that down on the riverfront, I've tried to talk to JD about that a little bit, if that's something that we could work with the Riverfront Development Committee on. Those rentable red bikes that you can rent all over the big cities, even Lawrenceburg, Aurora, Rising Sun, they all have them. I just want to keep that on somebody's radar to think, that's another way for families to be involved, when they're here on the weekends. It's a lot of adult stuff for all of us to do on the weekends, but when you're here with a kid, it could be something fun to do, and more and more we add more bike lanes and more accessibility. I just think if we could go ahead, I don't think it's really a cost or anything to the city, because they're making money, by using our credit card to rent the bicycles. So I was talking to Jim Bartlett the other night about other things that we can do to increase revenues, not just in the parks, but other places, but we got off on that, because we don't use our river waterways enough. And I don't want to put my homework on Doug, but I think there's, a lot of us have gone to a lot of booking things on your own. A lot of towns, you can rent kayaks, canoes, SUPs at a campground. You can, rent them for 2 hours, 4 hours a weekend. So maybe that's another way that families can engage our river, because
because we don't have a good marina here that's accessible, you know, where you can pull up and rent those type of sport things. So just, you know, we've been talking like, well, we've got these things, how do we use them more than we're using them now? So I don't know if that's something worth looking into, but just interested in that. And just to say the good report about pickleball, because we're getting to play on Monday nights, and, you know, they play 5 nights a week if it ever comes available, and working on, you know, Carla and I are talking more and more about more places, more accessibility, and how we can work all that in, so. And that's it, so off to the Jefferson County Republican.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thanks, Lisa.
Anybody else, comments, concerns? Yeah,
I'm Dave. I was going to say, I want to thank Matt and staff for including the Boys and Girls Club in activities, especially the feeder programs with all the sports and the dancing, because we used to do the dancing, we always had conflicting times, so it's nice to pull all those things together. We have a new director. I think Dave's going to do a pretty good job for us, so.
He's fantastic, so.
Thanks for having the meetings. Kind of pull them together, I think we'll be a lot stronger doing that. I was going to say, if we talk about bicycles, we need to make sure we talk to Bits down here, just make sure that Darren's included in the bicycle. He's tried bicycle renting and other things along the way, so it's nice to include our small business into it. And I was going to tell Doug, he's still back there? He's going to his son's wedding coming up, so I'm going to wear a new hat. I'm a camp counselor down at the campground. And I want to thank Kevin and Matt for fixing things up. So if you want to come down, sit next to the fireplace, the fire, and talk about campground, we'll be down there. Just give me a call. We'd love to have you come down and join us, because it's going to be beautiful this week.
Yes. Doug, appreciate your help, Dave, on that. Thank you.
anybody else from the public? Okay. Our next meeting before we adjourn is Monday, November 7th at 5 o'clock. If there is no further business, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
And a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 We'll see you in November. Thank you for your input.
What are you talking about?
Boys Club gym, is it comparable to the Brown gym or?
I don't know, the Brown Gym, you're probably right. We do our auction dinner there, and we talked about the Brown Gym, but someone said it was, the Boys and Girls Club was bigger. But I thought, you talking about pickleball?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I told them the contact Dave was. Yeah, so.
If we decide we need another night and the Brown gym's not available, maybe we could buy